Hello.
Good evening, ladies and gents. Very good evening, and thanks for joining us for another Meet the Suppliers live session over on the Essex Wedding Chat and Advice UK Facebook page. Tonight, obviously, I'm Aaron from Scarlet Heart Weddings, and I'm joined this evening by Simon Browse from Arrow Vintage Cars. Give us a wave, Simon. David Dean from David Dean Photographic. Give us a wave.
Hello. Hi, everyone.
And of course, up in the top left, you all know Andy Thomas from Chic Wedding. It's Andy's turn to be under the spotlight this evening. Give us a wave, Andy. Lovely. Well, ladies, gents, as I said, once again, thanks again for joining us. I hope you've all had a fantastic week. Of course, we're all open again for another evening session, and we can ask the questions to all of our guests this evening. So please feel free to chat and post questions on this service. We'll get round to answering all the questions if we can. And of course, myself and Simon have got some great questions lined up for Andy and David, and we're about to grill them all and turn them inside out. So we've got a few people, I hope, that are in the chat. We're waiting for a few. Can you see, Andy? Can you see any numbers coming up there?
It's slowly going up. It's
good stuff.
We're slowly rolling. That's why we did the intro, just to give people a chance to
Absolutely,
join us.
to log in. How is everybody? You all doing well?
Hanging in there, mate. Yeah, hanging in there. You know, same old, just kind of riding the wave, the same as everyone else is really. Just trying to muddle through, hoping for a light at the end of the tunnel. But yeah, not too bad. Can't complain too much. Yeah.
Lovely. And Simon, yourself, you well?
Very well, sir. Yes, very well. Thank you very much for having us. It's good to get us all together again, isn't it? It's nice to kind of share experiences and try and help out brides and grooms as best we can with our infinite wealth of knowledge that we've got between us in our young years. Obviously, we're not old. Could I just start? We might as well start from the beginning, if that's all right with you, Aaron and guys. Be nice to hear kind of David, first of all, mate. We haven't spoken to you before.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little about kind of how you got into the wedding photography and photography business, how it all started, and how you got to where you are today?
So for me, so I grew up around cameras. My dad had cameras and stuff, so it's that kind of story. You know, they're always around cameras and stuff like that. So I always kind of knew my way around it and what I was doing, you know, to an extent. And then one day I was at a friend's wedding about probably 7 or 8 years ago now, and thought, how hard can it be? You know, I'm gonna have a go at that, and turns out it's quite hard. But, I thought I'll give it a go. So I literally got home from that wedding, and I sent off a load of emails to loads of local photographers, and just said, I think I just Googled Essex Wedding Photographer, found the first 10, 20, and said, can I come out? Can I just come out for free? I'll give you all the shots that I take. I just want to just be there on the day and see how you work and all that kind of stuff, and just gain some experience. And I think out of the 20, maybe 2 or 3 got back to me, and a couple of them did take me out. They were really good to me. They took me out. They said, just whatever you take, just go for it. There's no pressure. Just get what you can. And I did that for probably a year or 2. Just did it for free. Just went out, got as much stuff as I could under my belt. And then slowly kind of took the step into trying to become the main photographer rather than just being there in the background on the side. So, yeah, so that's me. And I've been doing it on my own now for probably 5 or 6 years, something like that. And yeah, it was, I maybe went into it a bit naive, but now I love it. It's the best. So, yeah, I can't knock it. Yeah.
Well, you did really well. Go on, Aaron, after you, sir.
No, go on, you. After you.
I was going to say, it's brilliant. You've done a really, really good kind of, the unofficial apprenticeship is sometimes the best way to get hands-on skills.
That's
yeah, you know, you get to meet the right people, getting the right experiences. It is a bit deep end sometimes, isn't it? I'm sure you found it pretty challenging first couple of weddings and first couple of, you know. Right, Dean, on your own. Goodbye. See you in an hour.
That's it. Yeah, I mean, I was definitely, you know, thinking it wasn't going to be quite like it was, but when I got going with it, I loved it. And yeah, I found I'm not very, I can't sit there. I know I never went to uni or anything, because I can't sit there and, you know, read from a book and understand it that way. I need the camera in my hand. I need to be having a go at it. That's how I learn. So for me to go out and do 50 weddings with these guys who just let me do what I want, that was the way for me to learn. I learned what does work, what doesn't work, when not to pipe up, when to put your phone on silent. That's a big deal. And stuff like that, you know. Yeah. And so, yeah, for me, it was just getting hands-on experience, getting out there and just kind of diving in head first, really. It was a real there were moments where it was very much sink or swim. But yeah, I wouldn't change it for the world. Love it.
Fantastic, really good to hear. How about you, Andy? What was the start? Sorry, no, go on. Andy said enough. Andy said enough.
We're getting an awful delay here. Sorry, so it's yeah, we're not cutting each other out in time here. So sorry, I was just going to say, David, it's interesting that you talk about sending out letters to people within the industry to get the apprenticeship side of things under your belt. It's funny because I've always observed all of the different suppliers within the wedding industry can be quite closed off and competitive with each other, except it seems the photography side of things, you guys have, there's a great deal of camaraderie around you guys. You don't tend to be too weary of other photographers and too closed door with each other, do you? It's quite a nice thing to observe. Yeah,
I mean, generally, apart from with Andy, no one likes Andy within the industry. Apart from Andy, we all get along really, really well. We're all mates. We all go to nights out at the pub when he's not there. It's lovely. We love it, really. Yeah.
Can I just say, for the guys that are putting comments up, can you just tag your name on there, because if you've not logged in, it looks like it's just coming up Facebook user. So if you'd like us to address you by the names, which obviously we'd like to say hello back to you personally. So if you could put hello guys from Debbie and wherever you are or something like that, that'd be awesome. Then we can get down and personal with you, as it were.
Fantastic.
So let's talk, Andy. What do you think makes you Chic Wedding unique from others? We're on the subject of other photographers and competitiveness. What makes you unique at Chic?
I don't know if unique is the correct term, but what sets us apart from a few, not all, is just the personal approach in how we do it. So I will treat a wedding as a wedding. I won't treat it as a photo shoot. And what that means is I'm not going to keep a bride and groom for an hour, 2 hours, or demand that they have a set time in their schedule just for me. I'll work around them. As Dave works in more or less the same manner, and we'll sort of have 15-20 minutes sometimes to get our work done. But yeah, okay, inside we're probably fretting and stressing, but we always get it done with little fuss, lots of smiles, lots of laughter. Personally, for me, my style isn't very posy. We get fantastic results, and some people say, I didn't think it was going to be like this, because they look at the pictures and just presume how they're taken. So what we do, what makes us a little bit different, is we just really walking and standing and talking to each other, and subtly just saying, oh, just move that elbow, move that arm, but doing it, having a laugh, like, oh, come on, mate, show us your hips, which instantly creates a smile, creates a laugh. Come on, mate, push your bum out. We know you've got one under that suit somewhere. And little things like that, we just have that kind of approach. And yeah, it just seems to get the best out of people. Like I say, our recommendations are quite high. So my attitude is, if it's not broke, don't fix it. I pinch myself a lot at the times to how far we've come in such a short time, especially in the Essex area. So, we just try to make it enjoyable. My wedding photography was bloody awful. It wasn't a nice experience, and I swore from that day on that I would make sure that I can make it as nice as possible for the couple. And with the groom in mind. A lot of people will just target on the bride. I spend a lot of time chatting with the groom, just reassuring him, look, mate, this ain't going to be what you think it's going to be. And we encourage to have pre-shoots where we get that across. And I would say 9 out of 10 leave and go, actually, that was all right. And the grooms become the divas. It's quite funny. They love it.
Same question to you, David. What sets you apart?
So similar to Andy, I would say it's. I do work in similar to Andy in that we try to work around the couples. We're not demanding time out of them. We want the day it's their day. You want it to be about them. And if they don't fancy going off for 10 minutes for some photos, then that's fine. We'll just do the natural stuff around them and that kind of stuff. But in terms of what sets me apart, I do like to go against the grain with some venues sometimes. So if a venue has, let's say, I won't name any names, but if a venue has put up a certain feature, on their in their grounds, it can look stunning. But every photographer's taking every couple over there, and there's going to be Facebook and Instagram are going to be plastered with photos of every couple standing under that archway brick thing, and it looks great. But I'm not copying what every photographer's done. I want to do my own thing, so I will go out of my way at certain venues to really try and look for angles that haven't been shot before, or just look for that thing that's not been used yet. And there are so many pockets at so many different venues, like little pockets of light coming in indoors. So many photographers don't go indoors; they go outside because the sun's out. They think we'll go outside, and it looks great. Don't get me wrong; I do those shots. I do go outside, but couples book a venue because they like how it looks inside as well. So why not get those shots indoors? So I think, if anything, that's probably what makes me stand out, I suppose, is I look for those little areas in venues that are ignored, and I'll try not to give couples the same shot that they've seen every other photographer get. There's nothing wrong with those shots, absolutely nothing wrong with them at all, but I don't want to follow the crowd in that sense. I want to try and get something a little bit different.
Good stuff.
And I echo that, Dave, because there's so many venues that are overshot because they're so popular, and you just think, right, where can I go where for something? And it's quite funny because I don't know if Dave's ever done it, but I know I've followed Dave into a venue sometimes. He might have been there on the Thursday, I'm going on the Saturday or whatever, and I'll be like, right, I can't use that now because Dave's used that.
but there has to be an element, though, of brides and grooms seeing that particular shot by David or by Andy before they booked a venue that makes them potentially book that venue because they can see themselves in that picture. So I guess there must be an element of doing what you're asked to as well.
I've always looked at, Aaron, that you do the bread and butter, and you do the if you like, the signature shot. So every venue, high venue around Essex, they have a signature. So if you like, I don't mind naming a couple, but you should there's a few like Fens and Mulberry House that have the bridges, and people want to be photographed on the bridges. So you get that, but then you have to incorporate your style within it as well, So otherwise it would just be full of the same pictures. And also it's a clever strategy for us in the sense that the venue, if you do something different, will be really excited that they've got something different to share, not the same photo with a different couple sort of each week.
Yeah, that is it. Yeah, I agree. I think it's I think when couples book a venue, they want it because they've seen certain features, and that's great. That is, I won't avoid, let's say, the bridges and stuff, but it will be in the back of my mind that there's a little spot over there I've not seen anyone use yet, and I really want to get something over there, because these days are unique. It's someone's wedding day. You don't want to give them the same run-of-the-mill shots that you've seen every other photographer do. You want to give them the shots that they've booked you for. People book me because I like to give them, as Andy said, like for want of a better word, the standard shots. But then I want to give them these big shots that they want to put on their wall. They want to blow that up and put that on a canvas, that kind of thing. And they're not the shots that I see other photographers giving. So I want to give them those big statement pieces as well as, I don't know, like the ones on the bridge or the ones under the arch and things like that. So you do have to bear that in mind, that couples book a venue because they've seen a certain feature that they want to use, and that's absolutely fine. But that we're not going to be limited to that, I would say. I think that's probably the best way to put it. We won't let that limit us. Yeah.
Sure, gotcha. Right, well, we've got a couple of questions coming in from our viewers out there. So thank you guys for getting involved. And for those of you that aren't involved yet, do it. Don't be shy. Get involved. We've got a question in from Gemma. So, any tips for getting really relaxed photography shots? I'm nervous to be photographed, which is a big deal for brides, isn't it? There's lots of people out there that are nervous or self-conscious, or how do you guide your brides who might be feeling that through the day?
Okay. Cheers, Dave.
You go for it.
Yeah. No, for really, listen, it's your photographer's job to one, to pick that up, and two, to correct that. The one thing you shouldn't be doing on your wedding day is worrying about anything. You're the VIP, you're a princess for the day. Just sit back, get pampered, get waited on, enjoy it. Don't fret, don't stress. But communication is key, really. If your photographer's not said so just explain to them that you feel nervous. If you haven't done a pre-shoot, do a pre-shoot and insist on it. Even if the photographer in question may charge you to do it, it will be the best bit of money that you could probably spend if you feel that way. But yeah, for me, I just get couples to communicate with each other. If I see nerves, I'll crack jokes. I'll chat to them. I'll talk about anything random, just to ease them in. And you can see it as soon as we start walking. Their shoulders come down. They gig a little bit, and I'll just waste a couple of spots. So I might not really want a photo here, but I'll just do a photo here along the way, and then walk another 10 yards until I get to where I'm actually aiming to get to. And by the time we got there, they're relaxed. But walking, I don't know about that, Dave. If I've got anyone that's really, really awkward, walking is so good because everybody can do it. Just walk together, chat amongst yourselves, and I'll just say, "Oh, just stop there," and then again make a joke, make it light-hearted.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. I'd say for me, when couples do feel awkward, and I think the key things to get around that is if you've not booked your photographer yet, talk to them. If you like, obviously. Restrictions pending, have a chat with them, meet up, get to know them, because that's the key thing. If you know your photographer, if you've got to know them a little bit, then you're going to feel a lot more relaxed around them. And I think when, I work with Andy all the time, and when we're out at a wedding, we just chat to couples. We just say, let's go for a wander, let's have a chat, and it just relaxes them. And that's the main thing. If you turn up and you don't know your photographer, you don't have to know them well. If you don't know that you feel comfortable around them, or you just feel a bit awkward, or you just don't know them that well, then it's going to come across. You want to feel relaxed around them, and it might be that your photographer is great on the day. Straight away, they relax you, and you just feel at ease with them, and that's perfect. But if you're nervous about it beforehand, try and get a meeting in beforehand, because it will help you feel better on the day. And as for actually on the day, for me, I never expect any bride to come out posing like a model. There is literally no expectation on you whatsoever to be some, Kate Moss walking across this field looking incredible in your wedding dress. The only expectation for you is just to stand with your husband, wife, whoever you've just married, and just be happy. That's all we want, is just for you guys to just chat, look happy. We'll work around you. That's our job. We'll make you look great. You guys just got to be happy, smile away. And like Andy said, we'll just say to you, hold hands and walk off that way. Stand that way, have a chat, look in that direction. You've not got to do anything awkward or posy or cringy. I'll say to every couple, I hate having my photo taken. It's the worst feeling in the world. I can't stand it. I don't know about Andy. I don't know how you feel about your photo being taken, but it's not much fun. Not much fun at all.
I'm with you on that one.
It's horrible. No one likes it. So we don't expect you to suddenly feel super comfortable in front of the lens, because we know what it's like. So we'll do all we can on the day to make that as easy for you as we can. And like Andy says, if we sense that you're feeling a bit tense or whatever, we can say, let's come back in 10 minutes or something, or let's just go for a walk, or let's just chat. It doesn't have to be a lens in your face the whole time making you feel awkward. So yeah, I know I've just bombarded you with loads of nonsense there, but
no, it's all quality. We have another question then from outside. Susie here. Hi, Susie. How you doing? Susie would like to know, what is the average number of photos for an album? Is that something that you both provide? You provide albums, or is that a bolt-on? How does it all work?
Okay, for me, subject to one package that we offer, they all come with albums, just different sizes, different page numbers, subject to what the couple needs. So if there's a couple on a bit more of a budget, then they still get an album. We don't discriminate against anybody that's a different level of income. So if you've got the 20, for us, if you've got the 20 by 20 page, you're probably looking at a maximum of 50. You wouldn't want any more in that. I would say 40 is a good maximum, but you can squeeze more on. If you've got sort of 30 pages and a bigger book, then I believe you can get that up to sort of 75. Is a round off number, subject to how you want it laid out. How we do it is you pick the photos that you want, obviously after, and we design and play tennis with you. We send it to you. If you don't like the design or you want to change it, you make comments, send it back. We jig it around to your requests, and then until you say yep, go print. That's when we sort of commit. You can add as many pages as you want afterwards. We don't strongly upsell. It's all down to you. My tip is pick the amount of photos that you like, design it, see how it comes out, see what the extra cost is. If you think it's reasonable enough and you like it, pay it. If you don't, just say, oh, okay, can I have a relook and maybe delete that spread, that page, or whatever how you do it. But yeah, I often say to people, don't worry about that until afterwards, because until you see what you want, you don't know what you're going to like. And also, someone might give you some money for a wedding present, so it might feel like a big expense now, but really it might not cost you anything, because if most couples now live together and stuff, so they haven't got anything to really buy. So yeah, I find a lot of my couples come back and say, "Oh, Andy, I'm going to put 20 more pages in and have 100 pictures because Auntie give us this amount of money." So that's how it works here, anyway.
Yeah. How about for you, David? How does that compare with you?
Pretty similar, really. So my packages are, I basically have one main package, and that's just me there all day long. And then you can add on stuff as you need it. So same with Andy, like you can add on albums and stuff if you need to. And for me, you can fit it's how long's a piece of string. You can fit as much in there as you want if you want to add on the pages and etc. Similar to Andy, I would say if you've got a 20 to 30 page album, I would say look at 40 to 60 images. You can fit 100 in there, but they're going to be super squashed. You've just got to add those extra pages on. And like Andy said, if you want to just take it up to 32 pages, 34 pages, and just see how that spaces things out, that's fine. There's no hard sell. There's no like, oh, can you stop emailing me and asking me to see what this looks like now? You know, you can just play about with it, see how it looks. But I would say you can tell the story of a wedding day from prep in the morning through till the dance floor with a good 40 to 50 images, I would say, and still have a good kind of spread of what the day looks like. If you want more in there, that's absolutely fine. If you want less, we can make it work. But yeah, I would say if you aim for 40 to 50, then that would be a good album. Having said that, we give you a lot of images, so it takes some time to do your deciding. So that's another thing I would say is if you get your photos back 6 weeks, 4 weeks after the wedding, whenever it might be, don't pick them straight away, because you will fall in love with those images, a different one the following week, and you'll fall out of love with another one the week after. But once it's printed, and that's it. So I would say give it a good few weeks before you commit to which photos you want in your album, because you will change your mind all the time. So yeah, just give it a little while.
Yeah, and what I also
interesting about you talking about the amount of print.
Sorry, I think I cut you off there, Aaron. Sorry, mate. But what I was going to just say is just adding to that is what I find is if you're struggling to pick the pictures, ask your photographer to design it for you, because they will know what will work in the book and what won't. I'm getting a lot more couples do that for me now, and I've got to be honest, the results they're so much better, and people are just being like, wow, because sometimes we see something slightly different, and it's the same process. I start the design, and there's probably out of say 100 pictures, there might be only sort of 12 that the couple change, and that's because I've put the wrong person in, like someone else is a little bit more important on the guest list maybe, or something along that lines.
Like that, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, definitely don't be shy. And what I would say is make the album about you. It's your wedding. Like don't fill it with loads of group shots. Like you can make another book on a lot cheaper budget at a printer elsewhere. You can ask us, we can supply them at a totally different cost. But make your main album all about you. Don't feel like you can't or you shouldn't. You absolutely should. It's your day, it's your story, it's your book.
That's it, yeah.
Lovely. I'm going to hand over to Simon and let Simon ask a couple of questions. He's sitting there patiently waiting for his chance to throw his hat in the ring.
I'll tell you what I'm doing, Aaron. I'm learning. This is fantastic insider info. I'm genuinely fascinated. This is brilliant. Thank you so much, guys. I have got a couple of questions, but I'll just read out one that's been waiting a little while. We haven't got a name with it, unfortunately. But do you guys, or I'll rephrase it even, how do you guys shoot weddings abroad? I hear and see plenty of photographers in these wild and wonderful places doing fantastic beach set weddings. And I think, how does that work? How do you get over there? So, Dave, you could just let us know how you go about doing that. And when was your last one? Tell us about it.
Well, I think it's safe to say we do it with a big smile on our faces. I think that's how we do it. So it's for me, basically, it's the same package. I'm there from start to finish. For my package, basically, I'll start around 3 hours before the ceremony, and I'm there till you get kicked off the dance floor. So it's full day. I'm there all day, and everything's covered. And on top of, if it is abroad, on top of that, I just ask for expenses. So it's flights and hotel and transfers. And then apart from that, I'm there. I'm just with you the whole time, and I'm there for normally 2 or 3 days. I get there the day before, I leave the day after, and I'm there for kind of with these destination weddings. I think Andy will say the same thing. It's about the experience of the trip. You're not there solely for the day. You're there if they have I've got one coming up in, well, fingers crossed. I've got one in May in Spain. Fingers crossed. We'll see what happens. It's not looking likely, but we'll see. Yeah, so on the day before, they're having a big beach party the night before. Goes right through the night, and I think the day after they're doing another big barbecue with family. And so I'm there for the experience of it. I'm not there solely for just the wedding day. I want to be there at the airport with them. I want to be there in the transfers with them and all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of how I work with those things. Yeah, I can't wait to get back into those kind of things. I'm really pining for those days again. So yeah, fingers crossed. Yeah.
Andy?
Yeah, no. I say they are. David's right. Listen, once you're there and you're involved, it is a smile. But anyone that's a budding photographer thinks it's a walk in the park. It's not. You're dealing, especially Greece, any Greek island. You are dealing with different level of sunlight, which is harsh. It's a nightmare. So it's harder as a day's work. But you've got the rewards that you look over your shoulder and you're looking out at the most beautiful location possible. To be honest, for me, I find it quite stressful because 9 times out of 10 you're going to an island that's quite popular for weddings. So you've got your camera bag that means absolutely the world to you, and you want it somewhere safe near you. But then you've also probably got about 12 to 20 brides that have all got a dress in a box that they want extremely next to them. So it's like a free fall on a flight trying to get your stuff out there. So it's not as straightforward as it might seem. Like David, we do the same. We don't take liberties with costing. We don't charge if we're there an extra couple of days. We just basically, it's our day rate for the wedding plus expenses. So it's exactly the same as David. And literally we try to encourage. I've been really lucky with the ones I've done. I've literally become family friends with them, everyone I've done so far, and it's leading that way. I've got one that's just been postponed for a second time to 2022 in May. That's in Mallorca, but because of relations of talking and doing the pre-shoot, we already feel quite friendly, close. So yeah, you sort of look forward to them a lot. I wouldn't say you look forward to them more, but you have a different relationship because you are spending like real time 3-4 days with a family. And yeah, it is lovely, but it can be a little bit stressful getting there.
Great icebreaker though, no doubt. Spending that extra time with the guests and getting to know them must make the day much easier by the time you actually get round to it, because you've already met these people and spent quality time with them and had some good fun.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, well, my one in Santorini, it couldn't have been better because one of the relations was a Liverpool fan, and it was the night that Liverpool overcome the 4-0 deficit in the Champions League against Barcelona. So it was a freak of nature. But you imagine being in a Greek bar, just literally, it was just crazy atmosphere full of Liverpool fans, and yeah, it just was the perfect first night. And after that, it was into clubs and. Yeah, I think, I'm supposed to be professional here, and you're trying to go home, and they're dragging you back in. So it's fantastic.
Nice.
Brilliant.
I would just like to point out that as a singer and wedding decorator, and also I'm talking on behalf of Simon here as well, we've got a lovely, great big Rolls Royce that we'll jump in and we'll go abroad with you as well. So Simon and I can bundle ourselves out there as well. David and Andy in the back seats. Wallop, we're on our way to come and see you abroad. So yeah, we're all free to help.
Just to pick up just to pick up on a point Andy said, actually, when it does come to booking a photographer for a destination wedding or to go abroad, I'm not going to say don't pick someone that's not done it before, because everyone has a first destination wedding. So that's not what I would say. But make sure, like Andy said, they've got experience in bright sunlight, heat. If it's super, super hot, cameras have been known to fail before. Make sure they've got backups. all that kind of stuff. If you do decide to go with someone who's relatively new to it, or, oh, Uncle Bob's got a good camera, I would ask him to come along. There's nothing wrong with that, but there is a lot more at stake when, with the climate and the sunlight and all that kind of stuff. If they don't know how to overcome that super bright sun and you're getting married on some Greek island, you might end up with some very strange looking pictures. So just something to bear in mind for brides when it comes to picking their photographer. It's just something to be wary of, really.
Good point.
Yeah. Fantastic, lovely. Thanks, guys. Just that we've got another question from the crowd, which is a very good one, actually. So when you're setting up guests and even the couples for the posed shots, I know there's not necessarily so many of those in the current kind of fashion photography, but when you kind of show them, do you kind of do the poses yourself, or are you quite verbally confident where you can get them to do what you want to do? How do you go about kind of communicating the sort of pose shots and group shots that you want?
Andy does. He gets in a dress and everything, doesn't he, mate? He proposed for it.
I've got the curvy figure for it, Dave. What I would say is I absolutely do. Anyone that's worked with me or I've captured their wedding or they've been a guest will know exactly what I do. And it's all part of what I do. I'm quite happily make a fool of myself if it gets people on side and gets people relaxed. But yeah, the best thing you can ever look into is a form of a mirror. So if you can show them very quickly what you want to do, this is the quickest way for someone to repeat what you want them to do, rather than this. I always see on a training workshop I did, I tried to explain to someone and said, oh, I'll move that hand, not that hand, the other hand. Oh no, that looks awkward. Move that there. No, don't do that. If you had that kind of thing going on, yeah, you're not going to get booked very much afterwards. So yeah, straight in, just like, yeah, do this, and just have fun with it. Just don't take it too serious. But I always do.
Do you feel awkward doing that, or are you past that now? I mean, how long have you been doing this, Andy?
I started with my first wedding when I'm 38, and I done my first wedding at age of 17, carrying my grandfather's bags. Very different level of photography then, film, and it was very structured. This is the pose. Everybody straight back, tight bum, like stood up. That's that sort of thing. Where now, like you say, it's totally relaxed. But I've got roughly about 470 solo weddings. And the only shot, I can be honest with you, the only shot that still gets me is signing the register, because you've got 120 people staring at the back of your head. And it just never goes away. The butterflies are always still there for that one shot. But yeah. But no, I'm over the embarrassing side of things.
I'm lucky enough to have worked with both David and Andy on many an occasion. Andy works for Scarlet Heart Weddings as well on occasion as well. And I have to say they're the two funniest guys that I've ever had the pleasure of being out working with. These guys aren't afraid of doing anything. They're so much fun and so relaxing. It's very hard to be awkward and nervous around this pair. They really are good guys to have on your day.
Oh, stop.
Nah, you guys, this guy.
The problem I find is, I'm going to say the problem I don't like working with Dave is everybody dribbles over him, and I just get ignored by the bridesmaids. So I take quite offence to that.
Well, you can't win them all, mate. You can't win them all.
He's a
Dave,
good
I've got to tell it. Me and Dave have a special friendship, bondship. That sounds awful, doesn't it? But we could just look across the room and we know what each other's thinking, and because of that, it can create a very uncomfortable laughter. And I don't know if you remember this. Me and Dave done a wedding earlier this year, and I knew that someone had come into the room, but I kept my poker face and left it. And Dave started posing. You mentioned posing. Started posing for me and flexing at the other end of the aisle, and then he turned around. He turned around to see the room filling up with people all watching them. So yeah, we do have lots of fun.
Oh, I remember that. I was standing at the front, and I think you were watching me, so I just bust a little bit of this, and then I turned around, and one of the girls that worked at the venue went, "Oh, oh, mate." Oh, to any brides watching, I promise I won't flex my muscles at your wedding. I promise. It will not happen again. Oh.
Lovely. So, listen, Joe, I'm going to bring Simon back into this as well. So, on the subject of posing, obviously Simon has probably the most extensive collection of vintage cars that I've ever seen. It's incredible. It's beyond comparison with any other sort of company out there at the moment. But what's your most favourite car to pose with, Simon?
Oh, for me to pose with? Well, that's an expansive question. But you know what? I'm going to link that back in with all of you guys actually, because we as a car company have lots of behind the scenes conversations with obviously, you know, everyone part of the wedding, but specifically the photographers and videographers as well. There's all kinds of conversations and setups that happen that brides and grooms never see, and with these two guys especially, definitely some of the most fun and professional guys who know, you know, everything there is to be known about positioning of cars and shots. They've got it in their head. They know what they're doing. So it's refreshing to see either of these two lovely young chaps when we pull up. Yeah, I don't know. My personal wedding car that my wife and I had was one of our big Pierce Arrows. It's like a really big sort of vintage car, but because of its shape, it's really photogenic. And I think Andy was mentioning a couple of videos ago that he liked that one because of its shape. It can go with any background. You don't necessarily need to have it positioned in front of a fountain or, you know, a barn. It can kind of go anywhere. So I think, you know, selfishly, the one that the wife and I had is quite nice. Actually, we had one of these as well, funnily enough, for the bridesmaids. You know, having kind of, you know, more wedding transport, obviously the photographic opportunities are incredible to have something such a wide shot with all of the family, the bridesmaids, you know, groomsmen and stuff all in the same place really helps as well. I was just going to ask Dean about there's been a bit of as we spoke about it briefly recently, about the change in how wedding books are put together, and there's a bit more kind of real photography rather than sort of posed. Let's talk about the books first of all, but how many kind of group shots do you suggest you do at a wedding? And obviously they'd be posed or real, but that's a question that comes up quite a few times, is how many sort of group shots and how many of just us as bride and grooms would you recommend, or have you done even?
Yeah, so I mean, I would say this is whenever I meet with couples, I always say you can have as many or as few as you want. It is your wedding, but you're in every single one of them. You get bored stiff, and they take they're the biggest chunk of the day, because Uncle John's he's pissed. He's in the toilet. He can't come back. He's not coming back. This one's at the bar. You know, your mum's fallen over. She's got her wheel stuck in the mud, and trying to round these people up, it can get stressful. 9 times out of 10, it's not. I don't want to worry brides, because 9 times out of 10, it's absolutely fine. But on occasion, it can get stressful. I personally recommend a maximum of 10, because you can kind of knock that out in about 15 minutes, 10 minutes if everyone's behaving, 20 minutes if everyone's all over the place. If you think of it as, you know, once you've rounded everyone up and got them standing in the right place, if you imagine it's about 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes per photo, if you've got a list of 20, 30 pictures, that is going to take a big chunk out of your day. So I would say go for a maximum of 10, and just trust your photographer that he's going to be, once you've got those done, we're going to be going around with your guests, getting natural shots of all your guests mingling, chatting, enjoying the day. So we're going to get all those natural, candid shots of everyone. So you don't necessarily need superposed photos, you know, like the formal stuff. Obviously, you might want a few because, you know, mum wants one for the mantelpiece and that kind of stuff. That's not a problem at all. But you're going to look back at those ones, those candid shots, and think, what were they chatting about? Why were these guys having a laugh? There's more of a story to those pictures than there is to a formal pose photo where everyone's standing awkwardly like this, you know. So I would say go for a maximum of 10, and then just let us get shots of everyone else, because you'll enjoy those photos a lot more. Yeah.
Fantastic. Andy, any thoughts?
Yeah, no, to be honest, I breathed a sigh of relief when Dave said 10, because I thought if he says 30, I'm in big trouble. But yeah, no, absolutely bang on. It's 10. I say 10 to 15 as a max. And rightly so for what Dave said. Look, you're in every single one. You're not going to want to stand here. for me, what I say is I don't downgrade any guest, but just put the people that you'd be devastated that you didn't have a photo with in them, get my words out, in those group shots.
Yeah.
And then we're there all day. We're there all day. We're there all night. So those friends and sort of distant cousins maybe and stuff like that you still want a photo with, but it's not as essential. Just grab us, just tap us on the shoulder at any point during the night. So I can have a photo. Same as with your evening guests. As soon as the evening, excuse me, as soon as your evening guests turn up, if you want pictures with any of those, then just say, Andy, can you come over here and take this picture, please? So yeah, save your time. Save your time. At the end of the day, there's nothing worse than you standing there having your photos taken, and you can hear every guest enjoying themselves, eating canapes, drinking your drinks, and yours are cold. Your drinks have gone warm because you've stood over on a grass area somewhere having lots and lots of pictures. So yeah, definitely 10 if you can. But like Dave said, listen, I've done weddings where they just wanted group shots, and I've stood there for an hour and a half just taking group shots, and it's fine. I'll do it. It's not a problem.
Do you find the brides are conscious of being away from their guests? Do they worry about the amount of time you're going to take them away?
Yeah, some do. Some don't even think about it. I didn't realise that I needed to book a time in to sort of a gap. But yeah, I think if they've got like musicians, entertainment, and they can hear a big atmosphere going, you can see that they're eager to get back to join in. And then you feel a little bit like you're imposing and stopping them, if you like, which is not ideal when you're trying to just sort of, like I said, we don't take very long, but when you're trying to just get something done quickly, when someone's not really concentrating because they're distracted, it can take longer. So you've got them even longer than you necessarily need to. So yeah, I would say it's 50-50 there, Aaron, in the sense of who enjoys it and who sort of rushes back.
I would say it's like on the question of a bride's kind of conscious of time and stuff, and how long they're away from guests. Some of them are, and the ones that aren't, I would say, in a polite way, needs to be more conscious of it, because it is a cliche, but the day goes so quickly, and I think that is a big thing, is that we want to do your shots and then get you back to your guests as quickly as we can, because you won't get to talk to these people. They've come from all over the place, they've made all this effort and stuff, and you invited them because you want them there and you love them. We want to get you back to them to talk to them. So if you're, it's very easy to get caught up in the day and to get caught up in having your photos taken. If your photographer says to you after the ceremony, right, we're going off for an hour to have your photos taken, put your foot down and say, can we just do 20 minutes? Can we just do 10 minutes? Because you're not going to get this time back with your guests. And those natural shots of you and your guests are just as important as all of the other shots you're getting. So I would say, yeah, some brides are conscious of it, but if you've not kind of considered that, that's just something to think about. Just be wary of time on the day, because it goes super quick. And if you run out of time straight after the ceremony, everyone's having canapes. If you run out of time to go and have your shots done, it's fine. We're there all day. We can go out when everyone goes and sits down for dinner. We can nip out for 10 minutes if you want to. There is always time. So don't let that put you off. Don't let that stress you out.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm going to say a lot of the time we'll take the couple back out after dinner and speeches. So that gap, there's always, as we all know, there's that lull in a wedding, and we just fill that gap as long as the weather's on our side. We sort of use that, and yeah, we, like you say, just being organised, really. I think Dave, you work the same way. We know roughly where we're going to go, what we're going to do, because we turn up early. We go and have a little look around. Never take it for granted that the venue's in the same condition as it was yesterday. It takes 2 hours for really awful scaffolding to go up, and believe me, it's happened. So you think, oh my God, where am I going to go now? that bridge is out of action, or this is. So yeah, definitely, like you say, just trust your photographer. I always say, and I know Dave does, is look, you don't have to come out, but and this is said pre-wedding, I will never try to impress you. I will always, if I say let's go over there's a reason. I'm not trying to be clever. It's the same with bad weather. Don't let rain spoil your wedding day. Rain can be beautiful in pictures if it's done the right way. And if I don't think I can't get something out in the rain, I won't take you out there. I won't give you an umbrella and risk it for nothing. And I know you're the same, Dave, in that sense. It's trust, isn't it?
That is it. Yeah, trust your photographer. They're not, if we go and do a 10-minute photo shoot after the ceremony, we're going to get a load of good shots. Anything else is a bonus. So if we come to you, I don't know, just after the speeches and say, you want to go and do 10 minutes because there's a sunset, we're not saying it because we're trying to fill up your album or anything like that. We know we've got a load of great shots already. We're just asking you because we want to give you the most we can for the day. We want to give you as much variation in your photos. We want to give you as much choice for your album and all that kind of stuff. And also, the lights changed out there. Early on in the day, it might have been blazing hot and really bright. Now we've got a nice sunset coming down. So it is what Andy said. Just trust your photographer. Go with them. Hopefully, they won't keep you away for too long. Just go out there, do 10 minutes, get back to your guests, carry on enjoying the day. Yeah.
Do you find we're in an Instagram age now where people are looking for that Hollywood movie shot, the sunset shot? Are people looking for that?
Definitely, yeah. It's it's a blessing and a curse because sometimes you'll get sent a Pinterest board. Andy, how many times have you had this where you get sent a link on Pinterest and they're full of beautiful photos, but the backdrop is from New York and you're getting married in Basildon? It just doesn't work. So.
Other towns are available, ladies and gents.
And it's people do want these shots, and I've done weddings where the only outside grounds is a car park or something, and I've left them with some amazing photos. You can get a good shot out of any situation. So if you are getting married in a car park, you could be getting married in a bin. I don't care. Your photos are going to look wicked because we know what we're doing. So. You do get that. You do get people saying, I've seen this on Instagram, I've seen this on Pinterest. Can you give me something like that? And we can, but it will have our touch on it. It will have our spin on it. And there's also an element of kind of managing expectations, I'd say, Andy, where you have to say to people, yeah, we can do that, but let's be realistic. Your venue doesn't look like this kind of thing. Or you're getting married in January. You're probably not going to get that glowing sunset from this Italian photo, So it's you do get that stuff, and 9 times out of 10 it's absolutely fine. And I'm more than happy to take inspiration from something someone's shown me, but it will have my spin on it. It will have my touch on it because that's why they've booked us. They'll book me because they like David Dean Photographic. They'll book Andy because they like Chic. They want our edit. They want our look. They want our ideas. But I'm more than happy to take inspiration from what I've seen, from what they've seen elsewhere.
I know we've got a question in for Simon, but whilst we're on that subject, I'm just going to stay on this for a second because obviously, when you're at wedding fairs, you're looking at photo albums, and you're right, it's probably that one picture that they saw on page 9 of your album, David, that's made that they've suddenly visualized themselves in there. But with the pricing so varied out there, bearing in mind you can pick up photographers for £300 for the day to £3,000 for the day. What do you think sets the bottom of the price range apart from the top? Are there services that you're not getting for £300 that you are getting with the mid to top end?
I mean, it's a tricky one because there are some incredible photographers that like you say, they're charging £400 or £500. Who knows why? Because they can get away with charging more. The only thing that worries me about those guys is if they're charging £400 or £500 and booking out 200 weddings, are they putting the time and effort into your edit? Are they going to burn out after 6 months because they've just you physically can't do it all? I think a photographer who really takes pride in his not just on the day, in his work on the day, but in the edit that he produces afterwards, they've got to put a cap on the amount of weddings they do because there's only so much time in the day to do the editing. So for me, I think pricing wise, it comes from experience, the equipment that you use, and what you're offering. Obviously, how long you're there on the day is a big factor. What they get at the end of it, do they just get their photos emailed to them? Do they get a USB, a presentation box? Do they get an album? All that kind of stuff. But ultimately, I think it comes down to experience and what you're offering. I like to think that what me and Andy do, you can't get with every other photographer. We've got our signature look that we've worked on for years. There's certain shots that I do that I'm not saying no one else can do, but I don't see many other people doing. I try to be that individual thing, that person. And like I said earlier, I'll go to a venue and I'll try not to do exactly what every other photographer has done every other day that week. I'll look for those other angles. So for me, I think my price point comes from my uniqueness, really. What I offer, I try to do something that they're not going to get from everyone else. I think that's the key thing. But trying to put a value on your work in any sector of the wedding industry, really, not just photography, is tough. It's really hard trying to say, this is where I value myself. This is what I think I'm worth, and that is a tricky thing, because there's so many of us in the industry and everywhere. You know, there's loads of people that do cars now. There's loads of people that do the decor and DJing and stuff. So there's a lot of competition out there. So it's very hard to kind of put yourself somewhere amongst that and find your own price point. But yeah, that's kind of what I feel. Yeah.
Andy?
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Listen, I know some excellent photographers that charge 500 quid a wedding. And why? Because they work for a bank or they work for a solicitor's Monday to Friday, are on 50, 60,000 pound a year, and it's just something that they fell in love with and they like doing every now and again, and they take so many. So there is benefits from having someone that's 500 pounds sometimes, but like it's quality in what you want. You're about to spend thousands on a wedding. What sort of memory do you want of it, really? So me and David have the same supplier of album, and we personally don't get much change from 300 quid at a starting price of a book. So although the packages might sometimes think, oh cool, that's dear, the time you take off our expenses, they're not that dear, in terms of what you're getting for your money. Like, our books are handmade to order. Like, how many people can honestly say that when they're charging less than 1,000 or less than 900, say, because literally nothing's off a shelf. They're guaranteed for life, so you're getting quality. The only thing I always say to couples is I would never badmouth another photographer for their price. But look at it from a sense. Just sit back and think logically of sustainability of a business that is charging £200 to come and film your wedding for a whole day, and it does exist. I know people might think as if anyone quotes that, but they do. You get two photographers for 350 and an album. It's crazy, and you will get a hobby enthusiast that's just turned up because they just wanted a few quid, unfortunately. And Facebook, unfortunately, is the worst place for this. I see names there that I've known for a good few years, good friends, and they're incredible. But amongst them, unfortunately, are these little stray hairs that sneak in, and they are. And I'm talking about the minority, not the majority here. And so you just have to be really careful. Just as I've always said, I might not be your cup of tea, Dave might not be your cup of tea, but just get 3 people that are, and just sit with them. You want to see a wedding from start to finish. You don't want to see Hollywood shots that they've pulled off. You want to see a full day, and you just want to know that you can relate to that person, and then that's your price. Is I can relate to that person. That person's going to get the best out of me, and then it's worth every penny. We all know a photographer that charges 4,000 plus for every wedding she does, and she's incredible. And good luck to her, because she fills her books with her 4,000 plus. I'm not quite in that sort of bracket that I want to work 20 times a year. I love going to weddings. I want to do a lot of weddings, so I make myself affordable. And that's just my business method, really.
Yeah, I would say just about the photographers that are charging £200-300 and stuff like that. If that's your budget, to any bride that's watching, if that is your budget, you will find people that can do it, and they will do a good job. I just think within that bracket, you're going to find more people that are more likely to possibly let you down. Not all of them at all. There are some great photographers who do it for free. You know, they just want the experience. So if you have got a low budget, you will find people, and they'll be good. But just be wary, just be careful. Do your research. Like Andy said, ask for those to see a portfolio of work. Ask to see a wedding day from start to finish, so that, you know, they might know what they're doing when you're out in the glorious sunshine. But if you're inside a dark church getting married, do they know what they're doing in the church? Do they know what they're doing for the first dance? Do they know what they're doing when it comes to getting shots of just your rings and on your flowers and stuff? It's easy to, you know, a hobbyist can pose you and get a lovely shot, but can they get those moments that you're never going to get back again? So there are those photographers that can do that for £200 or £300, not slating them at all. Just be wary when you do, whoever you end up booking. Yeah.
But one thing to mention, Dave touched on a very good point there, is when we're inside a church and they're dark, churches are not well lit, and the vicar, the priest will come over and they'll say no flash. It puts me off my lines, no flash photography.
Yeah.
If you haven't got a lens and a camera that can cope with that level of darkness, you can forget it. You're not getting any wedding photos. And if you're charging, and again, I'm not digging people out, but if you're charging that amount of money, there's no way in the world that you're going to be able to comfortably afford to keep your kit regularly checked, regularly purchased to what we do. Like I know for a fact we use with different brands, but it's the same stuff in the sense of a camera and lens. And just one camera alone, you're looking at sort of £2,500 for a lens and nearly £3,000 for a camera. It's just expensive because we need that kit to be able to control that low light. And they're little things that people that don't know about photography, because it's boring to them and they don't know, I've just got a camera phone, but I want nice wedding pictures. They won't really get that margin at all. To be honest. But Dave, you're absolutely right. I would always say to everyone, stay on budget for a wedding. Never go outside your means for a wedding. If you can only afford £350 for a photographer, just find the best £350 photographer you can find. Don't be ashamed, and don't ever if you post in a group on Facebook and someone shouts you down, another photographer, then you stand your ground and you tell them what for, because I hate seeing that. Someone goes in and they said, "Oh, I've got this for five," and that person might be so over the moon with what they've got, and what do they get? Just a load of comments. "Oh, I don't know why you're paying that. That's not." That's that person's choice, or that couple's choice, and I think it's so important. Just don't get yourself in debt to a ridiculous amount for a wedding. Definitely not.
Yeah. So just going back to what you said about equipment there, just the thing to think about for any couples is, on an average on any wedding, on average, we're taking between 10 and 15 grand's worth of equipment with us easily. Probably more than that. If your photographer's only charging £100 and he's doing 20 a year, he's not got that sort of equipment. And there's nothing wrong with, if you just want some outdoor shots or something and he's got a decent camera, fine. But if he gets caught in a bit of a tricky situation and he's not got any backup gear and stuff, or she's a bit stuck for this, that, the other, it's just something to bear in mind. That's all it is.
Nice one. Thanks, lads. Okay, so we've got a question for Simon, and I think this is from David Cooper. I believe. I think he's been quite vocal on the Facebook group, and it's been nice to get to know him. And I know that the guy, if it is him, that this guy is a big fan of cars. So David would like to know, after the ceremony, is it possible for the bride and groom to get a short ride in the car? So there's pictures of them leaving the ceremony as well as for the evening as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great question. Yeah, definitely. We actually recommend it, and we tell people for lots of. And do you know what? The one of the biggest reasons we say to people, if you're getting married in a venue, so your venue is your reception, it's the same place, please do. Let's go for 10, 15, 20-minute journey just around the countryside. And the main reason is, well, there's two. One, normally so that the groom can get a go in the car, of which he's happily paid for, because otherwise it's just taking normally bride and family to the venue and then photograph staged, sort of outside and posed with the cars after the ceremony, and then that would be it. There's nothing else. So we don't really like to do that. We want to be we try to be as big a part of the day as possible. And the other reason is that we work very closely with our photographers. So we will say to these guys, right, you've got the shots for the car. We're now going to take the bride and groom away for 10, 15 minutes. You've now got 10, 15 minutes to go and do some group shots, and you haven't got to worry about the bride and groom. And that way they get more value. Photographers get more time to do what they need to do. And then, bride and groom can come back. So yes, absolutely, and we deplore people to, we tell as many people as we can if it fits within the day, and sometimes we are, led by the master of ceremonies, the wedding organisers at either the reception or the venue, and even the photographers say, no, not got any time, go away. So it doesn't always work, but we try as much as we can to give as much time in all of the cars as possible. I won't dwell. I think we could do a whole, one of these live shows talking about prices and cost of weddings. So maybe that's something we can think about, off camera as well. Something just to touch on very quickly. One of the most competitive markets is wedding car hire, and as I say, I won't dwell, but we get some pushback sometimes and say, good grief, £300 or £400 for a car for 4 hours. That seems like a lot. Our cars in particular, they are genuine, authentic vintage and classic cars. They're not free. They cost an awful lot to insure, a lot of money to insure, a lot of money and time to maintain. And obviously you have to buy them and I have to restore them. That's not free. So you will have lots of people with 10, 15-year-old cars that may happen to be white, and they could do stuff for half the money. And as Dean very, very rightly said, if that's your budget, definitely go with that 100%. And as Andy quite rightly said, do not go over budget or into debt or big debt for the sake of a wedding. Don't do it. Stick with that. But if you think you want something a bit more authentic and larger and that can hold more people, and that the photographs that Andy and David can do with them are just incredible, then that's the sort of thing. And obviously, as much time as you can get in them as we can do for you, and to take as many people as possible, we absolutely will do that for you. David, I hope that answers your question.
I'm all right, Simon. Have you got? I'm hoping I've remembered this right. Isn't one of your cars an ex-presidential, a US president's car?
That's right. Yeah. So the 1930 Pierce Arrow used to belong to President Herbert Hoover. That was his car, and we bought it in 1995, I think, late 1995, from so President Herbert Hoover's butler. We bought it from his son. So we are only the third owners. We are only the third owners in that car since 1930. Our oldest car is 1929, and that's nearly 100 years old in a few years' time. 100 years old. Sorry, David, I interrupted you. Sorry.
There's no need to show off there, Simon. Bloody yeah! How'd you do that?
It was it's a good call.
Yeah.
No, and you still have to ask permission, don't you, for anything that you do with that car? Is that right? Have I got that right? Is that? Do you still have to speak to the American government or something?
That's exactly right. Yeah, we had to fill out a lot of paperwork to take the car out of the country, and we kind of have to keep everyone updated with what we do and how many miles has it done, what repairs I do, the servicing. Everything has to be documented and is documented. But no, we do own it. We're very lucky. But yeah, it's quite important to their history, and they, America, rightly or wrongly, takes pride in its history, and we have to sort of keep the powers that be updated with what we do. But yeah. It's
is that on the desk? Is that the Pierce Arrow on the desk?
No, that's a Humber. So that's we own one of the cars that used to belong to Winston Churchill's servicemen, and that's again they've all histories.
Oh, you dropped another name there, mate. Sorry, is that yours? You just dropped there.
Clang.
Simon, what I'm gonna add, mate, because you won't do it. You saying about the cars, the car's incredible. You're talking to Andy now that knows nothing about cars. But what I would say is your team that turn up are, and I'm not creeping, they are the best that I work with, in the sense of, if I ask them the most awkward question, please move the car over there, or can you just turn it round, or can you just do this? And it could be in the most awful spot. They always smile, get in and move the car to an inch of how you want it. They'll get out with a duster and start rubbing down. So yeah, I think it's important for people to know that they're not just paying for the upkeep of a very lovely car or a couple of name drop cars. They are paying for an unbelievable service. And I know you won't say that, but I'm sure David and Aaron will agree with me on that what we witness when your eyes are not on your guys.
Yeah, that is really kind of you to say. Really, really, really kind of you to say, Andy. Thank you very much.
Perfect. The car collection, your approach to everything, it's just, you're spot on. Andy's right.
That's really, really kind. Thank you very much. Well, we've been here since 1987. We've been here a long time, and I don't. Pandemics or not, I don't intend to go anywhere. So have confidence, and that goes for all of us here. We're not going anywhere, guys. If you've got your services booked with us, We're going to be there for your day. We're not going anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And on that note, actually, I've got a question for Aaron. I know, Aaron, Andy is on your books as part of Scarlet Heart Weddings, and hopefully everyone listening knows you're a bit of a talented wedding singer. I've heard you, or wedding singer per se. Actually, I've heard your dulcet tones, and they are beautiful. Can you just tell us what else Scarlet Heart Weddings offers?
Everything we offer, our package offers everything. So all of your venue decor, so your chair coverings, your table centerpieces, top table curtains, the big canopy trees. You know, we've got pretty much anything that you've seen out there on most of the Instagram posts or social media. We also provide, my wife is the most talented cake maker, so we provide your wedding cake as well, and wedding favors. We make these marvelous color coded cake pops, which, you know, we'll color code with the bridal party and the groomsmen. So that's Helia's input for the day. And then obviously I work, as you rightly said, well, not rightly said, I'm a singer. I wouldn't have said I was, you know, I get by, let's leave it at that. But I also DJ, and I also work as your master of ceremony. So I put together a package where I host, and again, back to what the guys were saying about photography during the drinks reception and keeping you away from your guests. I put this little entertainment section during the drinks reception whereby I look after your guests to make sure they're comfortable, so nobody hopefully is looking over their shoulder wondering what's going on. And from a bride's point of view, you can be safe over with Andy or David, knowing that I've got things covered over at the, you know, by the bar. I will then also entertain all through dinner. Work as your master of ceremonies, as I say, we do the toast mastering, announce the speeches, do all the important things. I'll also sing again during the dinner, and just sort of kind of break ice, getting ready for the evening party, which once we do get to that point, we've also got the photo booth ready, we've got the white LED dance floor ready, we've got the big DJ booth and all of the state-of-the-art light equipment as well to go with it. And then I'll work as your DJ and your entertainer in the evening as well. So you know, I think we offer pretty much, along with the photography and the videography package that bolts onto it, we've got a package that I think is second to none. There's nobody that's offering what we are. There's lots of individual packages that offer, you know, good things as well, and you know, things that are, you know, are fantastic. But for the range that we cover, for the one price, I don't think there's anything like us. And you know, we found quite a nice, it's not a niche, we were just lucky that my wife and I had two skill sets that we could bring to the table that others that, you know, didn't have within the one household. The material things, the dance floors, the photo booths, the decor, you know, we can all buy that, I suppose, but what Helia and I brought to the table differently was the skill in the singer, host, and the cake maker. That's what sets our packages apart from others out there, I think.
I've got to say, just to like jump in on what Aaron does. I remember the first time we worked together, I think it was at Derougemont Manor a few years ago, and I walked in and you was in the morning and you were setting up the table decorations and stuff, and then I think your wife walked in and brought in the cake, and then later on I thought, oh, he's gone, and then you were after the ceremony during the canapes, you started singing and you were in a suit. I was like, oh, that's nice. That guy, I'm sure that's that guy again. And then in the afternoon, you were there, you were during dinner, you were singing again. And I thought, I genuinely thought, this is the package you offer is mad. It's ridiculous. I genuinely don't know anyone else that offers such a vast amount of stuff in one package. And I mean, if I was getting married, I can only imagine the amount of headache that takes out of it, knowing that there's one company that's doing it all, and not doing it all in a, like, you know, you're not cutting corners just to fit it all in or anything like that. You genuinely do it to such a high standard. And I've tried your wife's cake pops, and they are the nuts. So I can definitely vouch for those. But yeah, genuinely, it must take such a lot of stress out of it for brides when you know, you've got it all covered, from table decorations to chair covers to the entertainment, and then you're there till 2 a.m. or something silly sometimes, still packing down. Yeah. So yeah, I know, like Andy said, you know, you guys won't say it for yourself, so we'll chuck that one in there for you.
Thank you. Cheers for the plug. Thanks, guys. Thanks for leading us down that path. Thank you. Right. Anyway, let's get back to our Facebook users. Do you ever think to yourself, yes, that's the money shot, and do yourself a little happy photographer dance?
Yeah, Dave definitely does. I always, when me and Dave work together, which is quite a lot, thankfully, he just gives this really smug smile across the dance floor and then just jits off with his little shoulders, or his big shoulders. And I don't know why I read that and laughed. And me and Dave done a wedding in November 2019. I keep saying last year because we didn't do nothing. And we basically broke on to the pitch of Barnet FC to take pictures of ourselves because it was raining and it was a football stadium. And there was lots of jigging and dancing because we were taking these pictures during dinner. We got chased off, which was quite entertaining. But yeah, we was jumping around, jumping joy, being childish, clicking our fingers. So yes, I definitely do.
There's definitely 100% there is a moment at every wedding where you go, that's it, that's the shot. And sometimes you know it before you've taken it. Sometimes you know it's going to work because everything falls into place. The sun's just coming across. They're just walking at the couple are just walking at the right point, and you get the shot and you go, that's it, that's the one. If nothing else happens today, that's fine because I've got that shot. And obviously you want to carry on and you get loads more. And that feeling might come 2 or 3 times for a day, but that's the buzz. That's why you do the job, because that is such a buzz. And it's not something necessarily that you put together. Sometimes it's just that the church you're in has got great lights and the first kiss looks wicked. Or sometimes it's just that, your DJ has set up some great lighting and they come into place in the first dance just at the right time. Or sometimes it is something we put together, but there is definitely that sort of moment at every wedding where you go, yeah, that's the one, that's it, and it is, and that's the buzz. That's why we like doing it. And then you do your dance. That's when you do your dance. Yeah.
Is there a point in the day predominantly that you look forward to because you know that's roughly the section where this money shot could happen? Is there a favourite part of the day for you?
For me, there's 2. So for me, it's golden hour. If you get it, you're lucky if you get it. So it's that time, probably depending on the time of the year, where the sun's just starting to come down and you get that short window, about an hour, hopefully, where the sun's just coming down and it's just perfect. So, couples aren't blinking because it's too bright or anything like that. They're not too hot in their dress and stuff. And normally you can get some great stuff there. So I would say that's the time I look forward to. But my favourite part of the day is dance floor. Every day of the week, I want to be on the dance floor, get involved, get up close, and that's why I'm there until you guys get kicked off, because I want to see Nan getting drunk and doing the bit of karaoke. I want to see you guys, putting your dress over your head and stuff. I want to see all those wicked little moments. I was digging out some old photos the other day, and I found it was actually from my last full day wedding I did back in March, and there's I think it's a shot of the bride and groom at the bar, and I went behind the bar because they're about to do some shots, and it was like, I don't know, midnight or something, and they're just doing these shots, and he's ecstatic. The groom is ecstatic because he's doing a load of shots, and she's disgusted with this drink. She just thinks it's absolutely vile, and I want to be there for those shots because it's such a funny photo. I love it, and it's like I had the camera just on burst, so I got it slowly, the drink going back, and then the expression coming across her face of absolute filth. So I want those. They're the shots that I want. So for me, the best time of the day is dance floor. Yeah.
Andy?
Yeah, dance floor all day long in the sense of where it happens and what you get and everything else. But for me, my most favourite moment to photograph is Dad coming in to see bride. I think you do get some characters that are, and it's quite funny because the ones that you just presume are going to be really soft, they walk in, they're like, okay, then are you ready? But the scaffolder dad, the builder, the trader, the geezer, he's the one that's going to cry. He's the one who walks in, and I think it's such a. It sometimes makes me envious that I've got a son that I potentially might not have that moment, because I tell you what, it is something special. So I know yourself, Aaron, you've got a little girl, so that's a fantastic.
You just read my mind. I tear up when I sort of sing father-daughter dances. Of course, I'm looking at the bride and the father of the bride in front of me, but my head wanders, and I wander to the point when I'm doing that. God allow with Scarlett, and I get emotional thinking about me in that scenario with her on every other wedding day that I do.
Yeah, no, it's a brilliant moment. But yeah, no, like Dave said, dance floor is fantastic. And like we say, we never clear off at the first dance. We're always there. We're not quite there till the end. I'm not as hardcore as Dave. I start. I need my cup of tea.
Is that because Dave's just a bit of a party hooligan? Is that what it is? Is it?
No,
it's not about the photography. He's there at the bar, isn't he? That's what it is.
I don't even bring a camera. I don't even bring a camera.
The irony in that, Aaron, is that he doesn't drink. And it's probably just as well, to be honest.
Yeah. You give me some fruit pastels and a Red Bull, mate. I'm there all night.
Simon, can I just go back to you very quickly? I know we're on about an hour and 20 minutes now, so it's we can start to wrap things up soon. But we've had a question come in from Linda, who is using 2 of your cars. What sort of uniform do your drivers wear?
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Linda, for your question and for your booking. Thank you very much. I've actually come prepared for this question right here. How about that? There's the camera. Fantastic. Yeah, so all of our drivers are fully, they're in the charcoal period state uniform. So it's formal wear, knuckleless gloves because of small steering wheels. That's why chauffeurs wear knuckleless gloves. It's not because they're double-R'd. It's to grip smaller steering wheels. And yeah, very, very smartly attired always. Again, that can affect price point. We hear lots of people saying, I can get a car for £100, but driver turns up in t-shirt and jeans and sits in the car all the time and you have to open your own doors. That's not the way we like to work. It's your service. We are effectively entertainers for the day. And as such, we are addressed appropriately for your special day. So yeah, great question, Linda. I've actually got, Aaron, do you think we should mix up this bromance that Andy and Dean have got? I think we should, shouldn't we? I think we should. Guys, why are you better than each other? Go.
Right. Andy, you're going down, mate, right? I don't know. I can't tell you why I'm better than Andy, but I just know I am. That's all that really matters. I don't think either one of us is better than the other. I think when it comes to a couple's booking, it just comes down to, I'd say on the day we're pretty similar, but then it just comes down to our edits and what you get afterwards. We do edit slightly differently. We do have Andy will see things on the day that I miss. I'll see things on the day that Andy misses. So it's just like one of those things. It's just kind of what angle you're looking for your shots, what edit you want for your shots afterwards. But we do tend to get quite a lot of crossover in terms of our bookings. There's so many people that come to me and they'll say, really sorry, I'm booked up. Try Andy, he's great, he works in a similar way, and they'll end up booking him, and vice versa. Andy sends loads of couples my way, and couples do recognise that we are quite similar. So there's just those little differences here and there that kind of work for us, and it's those little differences that make me a lot better than Andy.
I like the quick right hook at the end there, just to finish me off, Dave.
It was all nice, lull you into a false sense of security.
That's it, yeah.
And well, basically, I won't cost as much at your wedding because Dave eats a lot, so that's why I'm better, because I'm cheaper. and I can go all day with no food. Dave can't, so he might be happy pre-meal, but no, he's right. Listen, it's really strange. I was a fan of Dave's work from a distance. We done a show together, and all I did was said, all right, mate, how's it going? And from the moment we started that conversation, and I think it's fair to say, it just connected. We just got each other. We were laughing straight away. And thankfully, that's just grown, to be honest. But yeah, I'll let him have it. He's nice. He's a nicer person than me. I can let him have that one. It's fine.
He's got bigger muscles, Andy.
Yeah, exactly. Pick your battles, Aaron. Pick your battles.
Clever genius, mate. I get it. Well, as I said, we're approaching the hour 20 mark. Not that we're on a timer tonight, but we don't want to keep you guys for too long out there. But thank you so much indeed for joining us. Don't forget, we are here every Tuesday and Friday. So, I mean, first off, a big thanks to David, Andy, and to Simon for jumping in and doing tonight. Normal service will be resumed on Friday. Andy will be back in charge, not Simon and myself. This was our first roll of the dice tonight, so I'm not sure they'll have us back. But Andy's back in charge Friday, I believe. So normal service will be resumed. Who have we got on Friday, Andy?
Well, this is the last Tuesday, so it will be every Friday as from now, and it'll be 8 o'clock. This Friday we've got a little treat. So we've got 4 brides, all going through what everyone else is going through, and just listening. So if anyone's got any questions of how they've dealt with things, how they've found suppliers, it's going to be quite a good, open, hopefully, conversation. Just to make people feel like they're not on their own. Then it will be, like I say, we've got Jade coming on. So I'm going to have the 4 girls together. Then I'm going to bring Jade on just afterwards. And Jade's a bride that had her wedding in October with 13 guests, so 15 of them in total. And just to get her spin on how her day was, completely unexpected and in a way that she probably never ever planned for. So just to get 2 spins on it, really. But we've got different types of weddings. So we've got church weddings, we've got venue weddings, and we've even got an overseas wedding bride coming on. So there's a variety of processes that these ladies have been through. They might be joined by their other halves. So I suggest maybe not if I was the groom. But Aaron, going back to what you just said there, mate, the way you've presented tonight, I think you'll be back quicker than you know.
No, nice. Thanks, man. But listen, we can't do it without your support out there and your questions. Obviously, we put together our own little questions, but we need you guys to get involved, especially Friday with the girls, because I'm sure 99% of you ladies out there have got your own fears and concerns. So get involved with the girls on Friday and start. I'm sure you'll find that you've all got a common ground to be stood on right now. Folks, have a great week. Enjoy yourselves. Stay healthy. Stay out of trouble. And we look forward to having you back. And of course, don't forget on the Facebook group, if you've got any questions, if there's anything that you've missed tonight that you wish that you had, the 4 of us are on there all the time. So we'll get round to messages and seeing what if there's any questions that we've missed. But in the meantime, thanks again, guys. Really appreciate your time this evening. Thank you very much. The tags are at the bottom. If you need to get in touch with you guys personally, Andy, how do we get hold of you?
To be honest, best place for me at the minute is Instagram or email. And if you go to the Instagram, it is just at Chic Wedding Photography. All the details are there. That's the fastest way and our most up-to-date portfolio. So it's a great place to start.
Simon?
Absolutely. Facebook, Instagram, or our website. We reply very, very quickly to any and every question.
And David?
Yeah, exactly the same. So for me, the best ones are Instagram or the website. Email address and contact forms and stuff on there. You can get in touch via the Facebook page as well. And the same as these guys, will get back to you super quick. And yeah, we'll just have a chat.
Wonderful. And the same from me, www.scarletheartweddings.com, and the Facebook page the same. Folks, have a great week. It's been an absolute pleasure. I hope you've enjoyed what we've said to you this evening. And like I say, we look forward to seeing you again on Friday. Take it easy. Good night.